So Brisca Formula 2's underway for their first heat of the evening. No Kieran Howie, whose car's stuck in the pits in 6:79. Hopefully he makes it out later on this evening, but it's 5:46. Charlie Folan, who leads the way in the early stages of this one. It was 5:14. Rhys McIntosh, who was the hat-trick winner last Saturday evening here, inheriting the win in the final from 9:75. Graham Leckie, who was first across the line but docked for a jump start. Craig Wallace back out in 16 after he had a tangle with 280 Peter Watt amongst others that ended his participation. But it's 5:46, leading down the back straight in the early evening sunshine. Good to see 6:47 Chris Burgoyne back out on track once more. He was down at the Mildenhall World Qualifier. And it's also good to see Ethan Gemmell in car number 50 making the journey down from the north of Scotland to be with us here this evening. Ethan, a former mini stocks racer, regular at the Cremant Raceway, which is in action tomorrow afternoon. So it's 5:46, leading the way from 9:75 Graham Leckie. Paul Reed, the car twitching underneath him, is 5:14. Rhys McIntosh sits in fourth. So the battle on for the lead at 9:75. Graham Leckie moves up the inside and through for the lead. 5:46, tries to come back at him, doesn't quite succeed. So Charlie Folan, whose results have been improving in recent weeks, sits in second as we reach half distance, half the race still to go as the commentator's curse strikes and Charlie Folan goes spinning out of contention. So I just won't mention Charlie again because he'll otherwise be storming up to the box unhappy at me. So it's 9:75 around the pit bend and onto the back straight. Leading the way from 6:47 Chris Burgoyne and 5:14 Rhys McIntosh. McIntosh losing places now as both Jason McDonald and Craig Wallace gets up and ahead of them. It was a cold but dry evening here last Saturday night, which saw McIntosh take those 3 wins, but it's 9:75 Graham Leckie who did take the Grand National victory, looking to make amends. Is certain pretty much to be up to star grade for the month of May. This is the last weekend of the current grading period. Charlie Folan has retired behind the goals up there on the turnstile bend, as has 5:14 Rhys McIntosh. And 192 Brian Hogg was an earlier retiree, but Chris Burgoyne is now closing in on Leckie, who's coming down the home straight, but Burgoyne now just a car length behind. They head around the pit bend and onto the back straight once more. We're into the closing stages of this one. The last lap board about to go out and Chris Burgoyne now within striking distance. So it's last lap time, 6:47, dives up the inside, 9:75 opts not to defend. And 9:75 settling for second then as 6:47 Chris Burgoyne comes round to take the first checkered flag of the evening in Brisca Formula 2's heat number 1. So heat 2 for the Brisca Formula 2s. Charlie Folan in 5:46 leads the field off, past Mr. Starter. In 6:47, remember, who took the victory in the opening heat. As 9:75, Graham Leckie quickly up and past the 5:46 driver, as is 17 Paul Reeds. Kieran Howie has Rhys McIntosh behind him in 5:14. Bumper goes in from Chris Burgoyne on 280 Peter Watts as he looks to try to climb his way up through the field in a hurry. It is 9:75, car slipping from underneath him. Kieran Howie looks very loose round that turnstile bend as well. So the cars look to be struggling somewhat for a bit of grip out there. It's 9:75 leading though, your track championship leader at the moment is Graham Leckie. 17 Paul Reed sits in second, with 5:14 now up into third, 16 in fourth, with 6:47 Chris Burgoyne. Battle further back is Jason McDonald in 3:87, looks to get past 280 Peter Watt. Good to see Mika Miller back out and racing in 4:02. Picked up some points in the opening race of the evening. So it's 9:75 from 17 as 6:47 up into third. Rhys McIntosh slow down the back straight. He was slow around the pit bend, and it looks like he race might be done, because he's going to be dropping out of the top 10 as we are into the second half of the race. 9:75 it is into the home straight. 17 and 6:47 is 192. Brian Hogg retires to the infield. 5:14 is pulled up at the end of the back straight. 6:47 I should say, meanwhile, is up into second place. So 9:75 and 6:47 down the back straight, with 16 Craig Wallace sitting in third place. The 5 lap to go board is out and flying for Graham Leckie in 9:75 as 16 Craig Wallace pulls up very quickly indeed. That will have given 17 Paul Reed a bit of a fright. 92 John Hogg is up the inside of 17 in the battle now for third place. So it's been a bit of a race of attrition, with retirees from 5:14, 16 and 192. Meanwhile, 6:47 Chris Burgoyne is closing in the race leader with 3 laps to go. It's Graham Leckie. Burgoyne looking for his second win of the evening. Meanwhile, up and into fourth place goes Jason McDonald in 3:87. It is 2 racing laps for 9:75, 6:47 in second from 92 John Hogg in third. 6:47 Chris Burgoyne on the back bumper of 9:75. Once again, the last lap board's going to come out, and it's going to be a last lap move for 6:47 into the lead, just as it was in the heat number 1. 6:47 Chris Burgoyne up into top spot. 9:75 going to have to settle for second once more, with 92 John Hogg going to finish in third. So Chris Burgoyne looking for the hat-trick tonight. Oh, we've got a spinner already. 17 Paul Reed it is, goes spinning around up there on the turnstile bend. Everyone managed to avoid him. The Brisca F2s have looked very quick all night here in this first sign of spring-like weather we've really had on a Saturday night. Been miserable weather-wise so far this season. Let's hope and touch wood that all the poor weather's out of the way as we come into the busy period of the season. First of our championship events just a couple of weeks away, the Bangor World Cup of course. But it is 5:46, Charlie Folan who leads, 9:75 Graham Leckie from Kieran Howie in that third place as 280 Peter Watt defends as the first of the star graders as Chris Burgoyne puts the bump in on 5:14. Rhys McIntosh is not in much luck tonight. McIntosh dropping it down amongst the star graders now. So it's 5:46 leading from 9:75 as Chris Burgoyne now on the bumper of 280 Peter Watt to get up and into fourth place. He manages to do that as he heads on to the back straight as 92 John Hogg also looking to get up the inside of 5:14. No Ethan Gemmell by the looks of it in this one in car 50. So round on to the back straight, 5:46 Charlie Folan leading, 9:75 Graham Leckie in second, and now Chris Burgoyne up into third looking for his hat-trick here tonight. So 5:46 from 9:75. And it's the halfway flag going out to Charlie Folan as 9:75 nips up the inside and through for that position. 5:46 drops down to second from 6:47, and then 6:79 Kieran Howie sits in fourth. 5:46 Charlie Folan with 6:47 Chris Burgoyne behind him. Up the inside and past the 5:46 driver who sits in third. 16 Craig Wallace tucked in behind, and now ahead of Kieran Howie. 280 Peter Watt follows through. It is 9:75 Graham Leckie who's lost the race lead each time on the last lap so far this evening. Extra couple of laps for the Brisca F2 final should make the job for 6:47 Chris Burgoyne that little bit easier as Craig Wallace gets up and past 5:46 Charlie Folan, who drops down to fourth with 5 laps to go. 9:75 and 6:47 first and second round the turnstile bend and into the home straight. Bumper goes in from Jason McDonald on 92 John Hogg as they battle it out towards the pit bend. The bumper goes in once again from the north east of Scotland man Jason McDonald, who's had a strong start to the season. Meanwhile, battle on for the lead, 6:47 on the rear bumper of 9:75 as 5:46 gets bundled down a few positions as the star graders come through. It's just 2 laps to go. 9:75 and 6:47 first and second down the back straight. 9:75 lost out on the final win last Saturday night owing to a steward's decision. He's out in front in this one. 6:47 may look content just to sit in second. It's 9:75 Graham Leckie comes around. The checkered flag is at the ready and 9:75 takes the victory. Will be up to red for next Saturday night with 6:47 in second and 16 Craig Wallace in third as 9:75 drifts the car round, delighted to take that final win at last. So the green flag drops on our final race action of the evening. The Brisca F2 Grand National, led by 546 Charlie Folan. 17 Paul Reed in second. From 679 Kieran Howie. So first, second and third with 514 Rhys McIntosh sitting behind them. Star Graders scrapping out further back. 975 Graham Leckie getting close to the back of the Stars, such as his pace. And Graham Leckie with the fastest lap of the race in 975, so not hanging about. As I say, he'll be up to star grade for next Saturday. Was always going to be up to star by the beginning of May. The first new grading period just around the corner. Meanwhile, it's 546 Charlie Folan still leading the way. 17 Paul Reed from Kieran Howie in third. Paul having spun out in the final. It is still 546 leading into the home straight. The fastest lap now put in by 647 Chris Burgoyne. So 546 Charlie Folan from Paul Reed and Kieran Howie. There's not much to choose between those three at the front of the field. Graham Leckie now has 16 Craig Wallace in his sights. So Kieran Howie on the rear bumper of Paul Reed. The Scottish Saltire goes out to indicate we're now into the second half of the race. And Howie, of course, had a successful evening a few weeks back. And looking, having missed Heat 1 here this evening, he's back on the pace in this one. So 546 Charlie Folan leads with 514 Rhys McIntosh, the first of the star graders, back in fourth. So 546 from 17 and 679. And 679 Kieran Howie's up and into second place now, trying to close the gap on 546 Charlie Folan. Oh, we've got a spin, and that's delayed 679 and 17. Those two drop down the field, and now that's benefited Charlie Folan in 546. He leads the way. 514 Rhys McIntosh with 647. Chris Burgoyne, and now 280 out of control also. So frantic stuff as 280 rejoins. It's 546 leading 514 and 647. So into the home straight, the last lap board goes out for the yellow top. 546 Charlie Folan. Rhys McIntosh is closing quickly. 546 down the back straight for the last time. 546 Charlie Folan around the turnstile bend into the home straight. It's going to be very tight, but Charlie Folan does it. And well, Charlie has struggled since joining the Brisca F2 formula with lots of spins, but he takes the victory in tonight's Grand National. Brilliant stuff for 546. Charlie Folan takes the win in the Grand National.